look! Viewer mail! That's so cool!
Although I never post my address anywhere, so that's weird. I don't really know how they know where I live, and that's actually kind of creepy now that I think about it. And
it's a YouTube comment I printed out and put in an envelope. I thought it'd be more fun. You should do less well-known games. Obscure games are more of a surprise for people. Sgt. Paper Towels. Well, I would. Except nobody would watch it, you idiot. The Immortal. I randomly bought this game one day because the cover looked really, really cool. I know they say don't judge a book by its cover and all, but this is a video game. That's totally different!
Originally developed for the Apple II in 1990, The Immortal was ported to the Amiga, Atari ST, MS-DOS-based PCs, NES, and the Mega Drive/Genesis.
So, everything. It was also made by Will Harvey. See? It's on the cover, so it's gotta be important. Who is Will Harvey, you ask? Well, let me tell you.
Will Harvey created MCS, or Music Construction Set, at the age of 15, which was the very first commercial sheet music processor for home computers, started 2 game development companies, and founded multiple other companies including IMVU. What? He developed multiple games, notably Marble Madness, and his final game, his swan song if you will.
Okay, Swan Song is a stretch. It was just the last game he made.
Was The Immortal. And according to Wikipedia, the most trustworthy site on the internet, the game was initially intended to be developed as an online multiplayer RPG, and now
it's absolutely nothing like that! So, what even is The Immortal?
Well, starting, you're greeted by a spooky skeleton. Now that's scary. It's just like the cover.
I'm in for a treat.
You play as a wizard with an isometric view of the world, and right away you get some story. An image of the old wizard Mortimer. Oh, you need to change that font! Leaps from the candle and begins to speak. Dunrick, you've come to save me. I am in the dungeons far below. I know I can count on you. This explains your old teacher's mysterious disappearance, but there's one thing strange about this message. Your name is not Dunrick.
But my name is Dunrick. It's not, stop the editing! Stop! I was joking, it was just a joke.
So you need to save your old teacher, and with that brief intro to the story out of the way, time to get started. I did it! Hooray! If you don't die from the initial worm, you'll discover the world of the Immortal. You're searching ever deeper into a dungeon trying to find your lost master. The game is filled with a plethora of traps and puzzles, as well as regularly forcing your character into combat. The combat here takes a moment to figure out. Left and right serve to swing your blade at enemies, while pressing A will stab them. And that's basically it. So you're pretty much forced to take hits until you can finally strike back, which seems stupid. There, I said it. It's stupid. To dodge, hold down the C button and move the D-pad right and left. Oh.
I mean, look, it's easy to do, but it's honestly not intuitive.
When I first played The Immortal, I had no idea you could dodge, because nowhere in game is it stated you need to hold C while attempting to do so. I mean, you shouldn't need to look in the instruction manual to learn something as simple as the controls. But once you figure this out, you can properly dig into the combat. Deadass.
Oh shit!
That was allowed back then? So, The Immortal is a really gory game, and I mean really gory. Funny enough, it actually came out 2 years prior to the 1992 release of Mortal Kombat, a game that was considered so graphically violent it caused the inception of the ESRB, and heated debates about violence in gaming. But let's be honest here, somehow I think this is more graphic than this. I guess it's proof politicians just don't give a shit unless something's popular. With combat down, you'll be exploding goblin heads in no time, and by killing the goblins you can save Ulendor, who tells us we must rescue Vardimir. He's captive many levels below and the entrance to the lower levels is hidden. In order to do so, you'll be required to explore the floor you're on for various items, solve puzzles, and avoid an abundance of traps.
No! No, 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 no. No, shit, no!
Eventually, you'll find an amulet which you need to hold up to a ray of light, and by choosing to read the runes... I did it! Hooray! If you don't read the runes on the amulet, which apparently kills you, you'll open the passage into the second floor, only to immediately be greeted by human-devouring slimes. And I'm not even joking here. No joke? No joke?
Look at me! No joke.
These are the hardest enemies in the game.
You! No! You stay away! No!
Dearest Sergeant Paper Towels. Slimes are supposed to be the easiest enemies in the game, yet in obscure games, they're the hardest. I hate obscure games. The second floor also contains a plethora of goblins who, upon defeat, will allow you to gain audience with the Goblin King. You gonna talk? You got anything to say? I literally just murdered, and I mean murdered, your guards right in front of your face. Okay, fuck it. We'll plant some deadly spores then. Which, by the way, good luck figuring that one out. You see, I failed to mention the fact that several puzzles in the game are, well, fucking impossible. Like, did you know that after using the spores, the Goblin King will finally talk to you if you give him water and give you an important clue? Past slime. 3 jewels. Slime. Rock becomes floor. Right, left, center of the...
Exercise. You eventually get 2 jewels and you have a rock. Past the slimes is a room with 3 Illuminati circles. Please pause the video and take out your paper and pencil. Write down this information and take note. What do you think you're supposed to do? Go on, don't be shy. You will be quizzed on this section later in the video.
Did you get it? Did you?
No, you fucking didn't! Because it's a stupid puzzle!
It turns out what you're supposed to do is drop the rock in a room with slimes and pray they decide to
what are you? No, get away! No!
Pray that the slime devours the rock and turns it into a jewel.
Oh, I get it. Slime, rock becomes... Oh!
But by doing this, you can place all of your jewels into the proper Illuminati slots and traverse downwards ever deeper into the 3rd floor. On the 3rd floor, you'll discover the goblins and trolls are warring against one another, and by helping the goblins, you can eventually gain access to the Goblin King, who's magically alive now. In fact, your character even ponders how this is possible. But don't worry, it's never explained. Wrapping up the 3rd floor, you'll spot another Illuminati triangle with a red and purple flame, which there's no way to understand. Red gems look best in purple light.
So it turns out you need the instruction manual in this game. It's basically unbeatable without this thing.
With the 4th floor comes a magic carpet. I did it! Hooray! The controls on the magic carpet are like being on ice, and any minor slip-up will involve you flying into a trap and burning alive. Also, the game decided it would be a great idea to have hidden flame-shooting floor panels. Thanks for that! For making it through, you'll find... Excuse me? I don't know proportions very well, but something about this does not look right. This turns out to be Anna, Dunric's daughter, who was kidnapped due to Vardimir's orders.
I'm starting to not trust that Vladimir guy. Name's too hard to pronounce.
Because you inadvertently sorta somewhat saved the Goblin King by giving him water after trying to kill him with spores, the goblins now trust you and immediately ask you to be part of their war council. Apparently, a water monster called a Norlac is stopping them from accessing the lower levels of the dungeon you're in, which contains a fountain of youth. And their plan for killing the Norlac is to drown it. You mean You mean the water monster right here? You're going to kill the scary water monster who lives in the water by drowning it?
It's brilliant.
The 5th floor also contains the most frustrating segment in the game. You see, you'll eventually find a worm sensor, which you'll need in this room. A room filled with worms ready to eat you, and only the beeping of this sensor and vague directions you find on a sheet will somewhat help you avoid these worms. The only problem is, the worms are everywhere, and to top it off, the sensor only works for a very short limited time and is one-time use. So you'll eventually run out of steam and get stuck. Screw up once and you have to restart the entire room. Get a game over and you have to restart the entire floor. But if you can manage to wriggle your way past this section, get it? Because that's what worms do?
Funny.
You'll reach the final puzzle and... I did.
Fuck you! Fuck you, no!
So this shit sucks, and I have a solution.
You see, when I bought the Immortal used, the instruction manual just happened to contain this.
Floor codes already written in by the person who owned the game before me. Whenever I was feeling particularly stuck on a level, I would just type one of these bad boys in and skip ahead to try a new portion of the game. Sometimes, a man or woman inspires you to do things you never dreamed, floors you never thought you'd attempt. And kid who owned the game before me, you are my inspiration. So on to the 6th floor, where you're greeted by a giant spider and the noises of somebody punching a violin. Beautiful. As you probably guessed, the entire theme of this floor is spiders. You'll fight off against a freaky giant spider and have to navigate past spiders' nests by flying over them with the same awful controls of the magic carpet. But how even does one fly, you may be asking yourself? Good question.
And one that I've pondered to myself many a times. One can dream.
Or you can find a bottle of alcohol, walk next to a treasure chest, choose to not drink the alcohol while next to the chest, and then instead pour the alcohol all over the chest, killing the spiders crawling on it, and allowing you access to a levitation spell. Which I totally didn't need to check game facts to figure out. And with that, you'll finally reach the 7th floor, home to the scary water monster, and where you'll find Dunrick himself. Dude, I can save you!
I'll always remember our fond times together.
It turns out captured Dunrick's daughter, Anna, and is tricking his former students into seeking him in this dungeon so he can somehow use them to gain access to the Fountain of Youth. So, nothing to it than to stop him by continuing on to the water... You then drown, but somehow survive and wake up fighting a dragon.
Well, that escalated quickly.
So basically, there was an ancient civilization who lived in these caves long ago and had a war with the dragons for access to the Fountain of Youth. All the dragons died off to a great flash, except for this one who guards the fountain. Majdapadamir has been alive for 1,000 years due to this fountain, and is attempting to trick his students into killing the dragons so he can regain access by having them read the runes from the amulet we found on the 1st floor, which will cause another great flash. However, there's a catch. By reading the runes, the reader also dies along with the dragon. Fighting the dragon itself mainly consists of trial and error until himself eventually shows up to kill you. It's the cover. And coax a new disciple into helping him slay the dragon. And notice how the dragon just kind of chills and watches the fight? If you play your cards right, the dragon will eventually kill and Dunrick's daughter, Anna, will rescue you from the depths.
And that's it. What, did you expect some sort of reward? Because you don't get one. You don't. While the Immortal is a little flawed, it was one of my favorite random bargain games I picked up as a kid, and it stuck with me all this time. Hey, look, there's something written on the back of this letter.
Which is really weird, considering I printed the letter myself, and...
My name is pronounced